Hello, I am Peter Blackwood. Welcome back to Icon Diary. I painted an icon of Cyril and Methodius for the Uniting Church in Australia's calendar of other commemorations. In this icon, Methodius is clothed in the paraphernalia of a bishop. His brother Cyril wears the habit of a monk and holds a scroll with the beginnings of the Cyrillic alphabet that he devised. They are commemorated on the 14th of February. The music you are hearing is God with Us, a chant of Kiev. I am reading a piece written for the calendar of other commemorations by Robert Gribben, a colleague and friend of mine. Robert is renowned worldwide for his studies in worship and liturgy and ecumenism, including his familiarity with the Orthodox churches. So he writes, "The 9th century was perhaps the most active period of missionary activity in the Eastern Orthodox churches since apostolic times. Patriarch Photius chose 2 Greek brothers from Thessalonica, Constantine, whose monastic name was Cyril, born 826, died 869, and Methodius, born circa 815, died 885. They were to initiate the conversion of the pagan Slavs, Moravians, Bulgarians, Serbs and Russians. They had grown up on the borders of these lands and they knew the Slavonic language, amongst others. Cyril was a librarian and a known philosopher. Both were ordained priests. In 863 they set off for what is now the Czech lands with an invitation from the local prince and the blessing of the Byzantine emperor. In preparation for this venture, the brothers had translated the Gospels, the larger part of the New Testament and some of the Old, and the liturgical books into Slavonic, an enormous task, especially since they had to begin by inventing an alphabet, now known in a developed form as Glagolitic or Cyrillic. That is, they set out with the basic tools to build a church of peoples who did not know Christ. What is known as Church Slavonic is still the basic liturgical language of the Russian and related churches, and a great literature grew from it in the related languages. Their methodology, however, was in contrast to that of Rome, whose missionaries had to teach their converts Latin before they could teach them anything else, and indeed there were clashes between missionaries of the 2 Christian centres. At this stage, however, the eastern and western wings believed themselves to belong to the one universal church, and the brothers travelled to Rome to place their mission under the Pope. Their exceptional approach and their church books received his blessing, but sadly, under that Pope's successor and under German Catholic influence back in Moravia, the old Latin approach was enforced, and the saint's work eradicated soon after Methodius died. However, the seeds had been sown and bore fruit, especially in Russia, Bulgaria and Serbia, whose rulers consciously chose Cyril and Methodius's way. Rightly are they known as the apostles of the Slavs. Success took a long time and was largely achieved by the decision of Tsars and princes. Some half-convinced Greek missionaries used Greek, which was no more understandable to the Bulgars than Latin. In Romania, a Latin-based culture, the Slavonic influence is still mixed with the Latin in the Orthodox Church. The younger brother, Cyril, died in Rome. He became a monk in 868, just before his death on February the 14th, 869, and is buried there. Methodius had been made a bishop by the Pope in circa 870 for his return to Moravian lands after their embassy to Rome. He was imprisoned for 2 years by rival church authorities and endured many years of theological and ecclesiastical disputes. He died in Moravia. Their pupils, however, carried on the work into further lands, paving the way for their declaration as co-patrons of Europe with St. Benedict by Pope John Paul II in 1980.